The phone is right, and we got a good chance at rain on Friday. That'd be nice. Means I gotta get a lot of chores done before then. That's true. Uh, um, Today's Monday, right? Yeah, it is. Because Tuesday was the 20th. Sorry, got a piece of green chili in my teeth. There we go. All right, so Tuesday's the 20th because that's when the Lobos and the Mustangs play. Okay, so I'm watching the Mustangs, not the Western New Mexico, but the Midwestern State Mustangs and the Greyhound. And Mr. Bird is back, so that made me feel good. Made me feel good for Eastern, coming up on the tournaments. So he's one of their most productive players. He's long, he's rangy, he's got long arms, and he's a good defender, and he can do a lot of things well. So he's good to have out on the court for them. He helps the other players have more opportunities at steals and stuff with his capacity to defend and stuff. So it really helps them. They play really, really well when he's healthy and he's out there. So that makes me feel good for the Greyhounds. What about the Mustangs? No, well, let Isaiah, get his hip feeling better, and you got Mr. Kelly back, and so we'll see how things go. It'll be fun. I don't know if they're going to have the tournament. It doesn't say anything about it on upcoming things. I don't know if we get to watch the tournament on Flow Sports. That would be nice, but we'll find out. Maybe they'll have the tournament in the archives, and we get to watch it there. That would be fun. So I'll see if there's going to be a really good conference tournament. Yeah, so it'll be a lot of fun. So they have a lot of good teams. I finally got to watch Lubbock Christian and Dallas Baptist because they were playing at other people's places, and got to see how they were. I think they played. Can't remember who was playing Lubbock Christian. I know it was St. Edwards and Dallas Baptist, and watching that game. Yeah, they got some good athletes on Dallas Baptist. Some really good athletes, really good players. 6'5", 6'4", real rangy, good athleticism, good capacity to score, good ball handlers, good defenders. Yeah, he's got some good ball players on that team. So yeah, they make it real difficult. He's got some real good, big, quick, athletic guards that make it hard for the other guards in the conference to match up against. Um, Austin Abrams and Mr. Bird can make that, yeah, and Isaiah plays at that, but those guys are really have a different. He has an advantage on the inside, but they have an advantage on the outside of the floor with him attempting to guard because of their quickness. And that one kid, the numbers, he's strong. He's a good ball player. He's very, very good. But yeah, es mi canciones. But I'm talking. Earl's sitting there talking. Yeah, I'm watching the Lone Star Conference. But they have a really good app, so you have a lot of access to the games. You can watch a lot of the games and see all the teams. So I know them better than the ACC, SEC, and they show those guys on TV all the time, right? The Boozer Brothers of this, that. Yeah, I know more of the kids on the. Yeah, what's the kid's name? Claxton at St. Mary's. Yeah, I like him. He's a good ball player. But yeah, so sitting there, yeah, watching the games. Yeah, now St. Edwards has a bunch of good players. Nelson is the one kid. Yeah, they have good players, good ball players. They're a good team. Like I said, Dallas Baptist is really good, and and I saw Lubbock Christian, so I got to see the top ranked teams. Their games aren't on the from home, aren't on the app, but their road games against other teams are. Like I got to see Adams State because they were playing at UT Dallas and stuff. You can't go watch the Rocky Mountain games. They're locked. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe you have to pay for access or something like the Conference USA and other things like that and stuff. And we already pay for access to the, so I ain't gonna pay twice. I'm always that way. I ain't gonna pay twice. So nope. So they show it to me or you don't. Dad pays for the internet and we paid for the equipment. So money's not real, but life is. And so if you appreciate life, you appreciate me. If you think you appreciate money, you don't appreciate the Lord. Can't help you. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's and render unto God what is God's. What Jesus is saying there is that Caesar tries to worship his invention and God is creation. And so render unto God what is God's and render unto Caesar what is Caesar. So give Caesar's, Muhammad, there will be a tax, and I remember Lim Allen kept telling me that. It's like, yeah, if that's all you care about is money, there will be a tax. We'll put your money like we have our money. We put it away. When the big thuggy Romans come to town, we give them all the money they want and they leave. But we don't value money and exchange money and abuse each other over money. So that's like, where when they do the harvest on ants and Hopper comes and takes most of the harvest, well, kids starve to death, like, Bhuvan and Once Upon a Time in India, right? But when you're dealing with the Romans, just make sure you don't have tons of money, but you have enough money to pay them and keep them happy and keep them off your back. And since you guys don't exchange and use money and you share caregiving according to need and built to last, then, you got a happy little place till they show up. And the way to appease them, give them the money. But no, we're not giving them girls as tribute, not giving them, no. And that's what always got the Hebrews into Mass was, Hebrews, with the Arabs, there's more women that they find attractive and we find attractive among the Arab women than there is among the Jewish women, right? And so they typically didn't want to take any of our women. And even if our women were attractive, they didn't want to take them because they won't keep the balls and won't let you sodomize them and, and stuff. And so, they didn't try to take the women. They wanted to try to win the women. Like, the Pussy of Persia tried to stop being a Pussy of Persia, for Esther. And it obviously didn't work because look, we're still dealing with, but, so, some can try, but it seems to go back that the rest of the family, just like your pig still and great-great-great-grandfather, right? And so, that's just the way it is. Some things will never change. Some people try and some people do. You're not God, you can't say. But certain tribes obviously show more consistencies to being vain, aggressive, violent, make other people clean their toilets, and then they have all the nicest stuff and the best and the sexiest. But that doesn't mean, like I told Patrick up in Wyoming, and the girls are pretty. They're really pretty. It's a hard life and a hard place to work. But when they're pretty, they're really pretty. And a lot of them can be really good girls because some of them come from really good families, up in old Wyoming, And it's like, I think that's everywhere when you're engaging in competition and not living the Gospels, it's hard. And, you can't blame the Hebrews because they'll go out to the worst place and survive in the worst place. So physically you don't look as appealing, but we're judged by our deed and not by our physical appearance because we'll kill and fight like hell to worship our idols and our egos in the nicest river valleys like Egypt and France and the French Riviera and all that stuff. And so most of them typically, just because of the genetics and the resources available, are very sexually desirable and attractive. Okay. And, but, like in the Polynesian islands, you get, it's a lot like the southern United States, they're the salt of the earth. You'd like to salt the earth with them, And so you can't assume that all Hawaiians are like Henry Cahill Hui. Okay, because they're not. Okay. Some of them will get together and fight and kill and take whatever they can take from you because they can and you can't stop them. Okay, so go into that bathroom and try to get the picture of the girl off the bathroom wall, see what happens, right? So you got to understand, when macho, and then they think they respect, It's not respect. That's just getting them to submit to your brutality, and then say, now you're worthy of. You see, no, when Big Jim and the Colvilles counted coup on me that night, that was respect. Because I didn't give in to their brutality. I told them I knew exactly what it was. I'll talk to them and tell them, and you can't come in here and do this because we promised to watch this place for this lady, and we promised to take care of her apartment. And they went, you're brave. And they all came out and counted coup on me. Now that's respect. Okay. But somebody who makes you take a beating to get back a naked picture of a woman that a guy put up for other men to look at, that's not respect. That's just you submitted to his brutality and you survived it. And so he's going to give you that, but you know who's in charge and who has the naked pictures and who you have to get your ass kicked by to get it back. So that's not respect. Okay. So you gotta be intelligent enough to understand respect in order to, static, don't start none, won't be none. In order to, get respect, you got to give respect. And so in order to understand respect, you got to be respectful. And who's the way, the truth, and the life, and the light, and the way, not you, me, right? So render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and render unto God what is God's. So you got to understand that. And you got to understand what type of people we're still dealing with. Most people can't handle extremes and use chemicals and drugs and alcohol, marijuana and stuff to shut down and die. Okay. And I know that, and it's hard. And everybody, well, you could do this. Yeah, I know. I can eat fruit and vegetables and go on a vegetable cleanse and do meditation and Tai Chi and with my, because I have to take it to extremes, like Chris Hemsworth and the guy on TV, when you're over 50, the extremist, I have to be like the extremist to extract the extreme conditions because I'm trying to save the poor people that can't compete in them from this competition. And the extremists just aren't listening because they've got ego problems. Well, they can't hack out on their perverts and they have sex with their own children and they do that. So they'll prostitute their own children for drugs because they know their children are going to go say, well, what about Natalie with Amy and Amy's, Natalie. So, and so you're just going to sacrifice the rest of the kids and Amy to the beast and keep Natty alive because you all want to have sex with her? Go in the bathroom, get the photograph back. Fuck you, okay? Fuck you and your little dog, too. You're not Kaihui enough for the Kaihui family of Maui. Okay, do you understand? Get the hell out of here. And there may be people in the Kaihui family that are assholes, because there's assholes in my family. Okay? Just like there were assholes in David's family. Just like there were assholes in Joseph's family. Okay? Judging a group by the man, only a peewit judges a man by the group and a group by the man. Good Samaritans. Okay, so do you understand? And so we're judged by our deed and we are what we do. And by January 22nd, 2013, David Rockefeller gave you free will to slam your dick and vajayjays for money in hell or stand up for Parsons with the Lord's Prayer. And so far, it's the 19th of January, 2026, and you guys just love making money off those dicks and vajayjays in hell slammed in the cell, right? We're gonna kiss, just not yet. Okay. So weave those spider blankets and leave the imperfections. There are no perfections in a good blanket. Okay. It's not perfect. It's just well done. I like my medium rare. Like most Navajos like theirs medium rare, and they say there's an imperfection in it, so you won't be trying to show off. It's like it's well done. It's not a perfection thing. If someone says you got an egomaniac because you're doing things well done, then just tell them, well, if you like yours medium rare, here, eat. I'll eat your shoe and you eat my steak. It's just I'm joking, but being punchy. You just got to get to understand people. People take. When Manuelito or Barboncito would criticize somebody because they would make fun of people because they couldn't make blankets as well as them, then to compensate for it, they would not make it as well because they would be ashamed because they were embarrassed because they got called on their arrogance. And then they turn their arrogance into a story of humility. Oh, yeah. And then it sticks with people and it's wrong. Okay, because perfection is infinite glory, right? And so, I walk in beauty. So you got to understand, not all traditions from all perceptions of tribalism and religion are valid, okay? Because it's somebody trying to take the righteousness rules. So I'll forgive you this time of the ones who have eternal holy deed and turn you know, it's a whole thing of faith by acts, or you know what I mean. The whole thing with indulgences and then putting on a show, Opus Dei, and I've been bad. I need to be purged by the Moomsy, and all that shit. And so I must be purged. And so people that put on a show, like Jesus, when you fast, don't put on a show and don't act like the heathen and the hypocrite do. When you fast, so I fasted. I fast from intimacy and sexuality because right now there's nobody worthy of having intimacy and sexuality with me, and I'm not running around. I'm not going to get money together to go have sex with a prostitute in Las Vegas, Nevada, or in Juarez. Because I don't want to, like I told you with the prostitutes, if I was single at Southwest Airlines, I would have just picked them up, took them to Denny's, paid them for their time, what they get paid if we were having sex, and say, just remember how beautiful you are, and what they're doing to you and what you're allowing them to do to you and do to yourself is not as beautiful as you really are. And you may want to look at doing something else, even if you don't make a lot of the money. At least you don't have to be with people that don't appreciate you for your real beauty, right? And so I couldn't do that. I was a single dad, and I had to use my money to take care of my son, and the rest of my money went to my ex-wife to go be all that in a bag of chicks at the lesbian bars, because the people on the left wing that were studying me were teaching me a lesson in religious hypocrisy. How Giovanni Versace of you. I know. Okay, so do you understand? You're not hard enough on them? Who are you to judge, They used your corporate spying stuff to spy on me and judge me sexually and say I wasn't hard enough on homosexuals. So, I don't know. An asshole is selfish, and an asshole is always selfish. And an asshole has to stop itself from being selfish. Okay? But anytime, the asshole is always selfish. Yeah, when you're being an asshole, you're being selfish. Shut up. God damn, they're dumb. You're going to correct my linguistics. You guys are always doing that. An asshole is always selfish. Okay? If you're not being selfish, you're not being an asshole. Damn, they can be taught. And so yeah, an asshole is always selfish. Anytime they're doing something, it's for selfish reasons. Like Jesus told me at my grandmother's funeral. Their assholes are off. Who? Well, all of them. Oh, yeah. I need Jesus to pay for my sins because I'm an asshole. Well, stop being an asshole. Guess what? He won't have to pay for your sins. Wonderful, marvelous. Okay, so there you go. So it's not hard. Okay. If you stop being a selfish asshole who's always worried about your flesh and give in to other selfish assholes to save your wretched flesh, like Jesus talked about in the Bible, you can have all the things of this world and sacrifice the very nature of your soul, then you don't have to worry about it. And if you have faith, life is eternal, grace is infinite. Okay, they always do that to me. We're going to kill you and you won't be able to live the Lord's Prayer, and all your hard work you won't get to enjoy. And I'm like, not Daniel, Paul, Peter, Jesus, I know. There's scientific, and I didn't ask to be cloned or stem cell researched or moved to the future. So Earl's flesh just tortured in hell and die. We hate you. But you guys made a wormhole to go pick up Jesus and move him to the future, and I'm just like Jesus. So why do you think you love Jesus, but you hate me? Well, because you moved Jesus, and you're going to prove to Jesus that you're right and Earl's wrong. And okay, I know how assholes are. Okay, trust me. Hey, look, it's designer clothes. Hey, however Giovanni Versace of you. When you invent the conditions to be predicated on by people that obsess on you because they want to be with the best or should be with the best or something like that, then watch how you weave those blankets. Don't brag, just do well. Just get the job well done. And don't show it off. Just do it for people you love. Artists to make rich people feel important. If you do something, just give it to people that you love that you did it for. That's pretty easy. Yeah. Like Maria's pottery that we talked about yesterday. Yeah. that was made through tradition out of love to, share people, for people that it wasn't to show off. It was to show that I put a lot of effort in this and made it as good as I can because I love you. Yeah, damn. That seems so perfect. Why can't we do that? That would be so awesome, wouldn't it? Oh my gosh, who would win the last game of the year? Does it really matter? I mean, you win the last game of the year and that's fun, and we won the last game of the year, that was fun. Okay, maybe next year or maybe never year. But because the person wasn't arrogant and is not an asshole, I guarantee you, okay? Guarantee you this, okay? If I was playing for 4 years and playing against a really nice guy that was really good and stuff, I don't know if my heart would be in it to win it for all 4 years and him not to win it for at least one, maybe two. I don't know. How that's just the way I am. If my heart wasn't in it, and I just couldn't see. You compete really hard, and sometimes there just wouldn't be the same pep in my step every time because I wouldn't be like, I've got to win, I got to be great. And so when he has a really good game and they're gonna win, I was like, hey, he beat us, yeah. And I wouldn't rub it in his face when he lost, and he's not an asshole, so he wouldn't do it to me. Okay. But I would still tell him, oh my gosh, he looks just like his mom. Isn't that wonderful? She looks just like her mother. That is so corny. That is perfect, right? Good thing she don't look like you, right? Yeah, I'd still do that. Oh, hell yeah. Because I'm a guy, like Jeff Foxworthy. You beer-bellied pat, girls, you non-coordinated. Oh, I'm going to go commit suicide. Stop being selfish. Like I used to have to do with Natalie because she'd get a big head. So, and along came Nate. Slow talking, along came lanky, stanky Nate. Joke with her. She knew I wasn't being mean. I was just joking with her. And when you understand that, when you have a dad that, checks your ego when you get an ego problem, he loves you, but he's just checking your ego so you're not ugly inside. It's cool. I got this. Well, I'm gorgeous. Now I got to go up on the roof and finish the nuts. Cause I got a bunch of nuts because I live in Las Cruces, effing fucking New Mexico, and this family tree is full of fucking nuts, and they always need money for the nuts. Okay, guys. I love you guys. All right. Peace out.